Okay, Libra. Your challenging energy for October may have to do with protecting a relationship from interference. You maybe somebody's gossiping about you or your beloved, or the two of you together. Maybe someone's trying to interfere. This could also be unsolicited advice that you're getting from someone else, but it does seem to you could be giving the advice as well. This can always work both ways, but yeah, you could be receiving or giving advice about relationship issues or breakup, or relationship breakup. Maybe someone's telling you you should get away from the person that you're with, or maybe you shouldn't let someone get to you the way that they do. And I do feel, though, if you're getting the advice, Libra, that this is going to be good advice to follow, but you may have difficulty with this. You may have difficulty forgetting a past relationship or breaking away. Maybe someone from the past has come back in and is trying to kind of get back into your life, and they weren't such a good person the first time around. So, what the runes and the cards are saying here is basically that if you do get advice, I think you'll recognize that it's good. The difficulty, the challenge may be in following it. Same if you're giving the advice. You may get frustrated if somebody comes to you for advice and then you give them what you feel is wisdom and they don't use it to their benefit. That's frustrating for all of us. But the phrase "easier said than done" is coming to mind. But your challenge will be to try to do this because, these people care about you, whoever this is giving you this advice, and I feel like they know what they're talking about. Definitely wisdom here. Those of you who have tests or job interviews in October, if you've been watching the astrology videos, then we do have a Mercury retrograde. So there can be breakdowns in communication. It could be that you go on an interview and you feel it went well, but you don't hear back in what you would think would be a reasonable amount of time. Don't be afraid to kind of reach out and maybe shoot people emails if you've been on interviews trying to go after a new position, a new job, or start your own business. If you are needing help with that, you've contacted someone about that, but you haven't heard back. Definitely keep in touch with people because, messages can get lost with Mercury retrograde. There can be breakdowns with communication in general. So it could be that maybe they saw your email and they just forgot to respond, thought they responded, but they didn't, something like that. Or maybe your email went to spam, your voicemail got deleted. All of those kinds of things are normal with Mercury retrograde. We also have 2 eclipses in October. So again, you're going to want to watch, your favorite astrologer to find out what houses those will be affecting for you. But I'm sure it will be touched on as well in this reading. But definitely, I see a good outcome to any interviews, any testing that you have to do. If this is a new thing that just occurs to you in October, then you may want to wait if you can. If there are exams scheduled for certifications or things that would be scheduled at a later time, you may want to put that off just because of the Mercury retrograde. I'm not saying that it would, be a total wash, but, if you feel like you're not ready, need more time to study, you're probably right, in October. But, for most of you, I feel like this does have to do with, a breakup or a relationship, either with you or someone that you know. For the challenge. Again, the challenge doesn't cover the whole month. That's normally just in one area of our lives where we're dealing with things. But we'll see how things play on the rest of the reading here. For a lot of you, it does seem like there is someone who maybe hurt you. So again, going back to this relationship, if not, this could be, you. Maybe you are the one that really hurt someone, Libra. This would have been due to lack of efforts, just kind of giving up. Maybe you felt the relationship was too hard, or maybe this person felt the relationship was too hard. And that can happen a lot with romantic relationships because everybody is different. We don't always see things eye to eye. They are work, and some people really buy into the fantasy of, it should just be easy if it's the right person. Nothing is easy. Anything worth having requires work, and that includes relationships. So, if you've been dealing with somebody who just, doesn't seem to have time for you, doesn't seem to want to put in the effort. Maybe it's this past person that's trying to, somebody who's trying to come back in who didn't put effort in the last time. I feel like that, you're still going to see that same thing in their personality. So just be careful with that, Libra. Don't put yourself back in a situation that maybe was difficult for you to separate yourself from in the first place. For those of you that this is not a relationship, if it is a new job, a new business, a certification, that kind of thing, October, again, you may find yourself kind of running in place, like you can't seem to move forward. Again, that's a passing thing with the Mercury retrograde. If there is a delay associated with the eclipses, maybe it's, maybe you're not meant to do whatever this is. Maybe you are meant to do something else, and this delay is to kind of get you to recognize that, or to discover another opportunity, or allow another opportunity to come to you. So yeah, October can be kind of summed up as a wait and see kind of month for a lot of things. Mercury retrograde is wonderful for research if you're trying to figure out maybe what you want to do. It's great for education, for studying. So again, if you've got like a certification test that you can put off for later, you could really get some serious studying done in October. Or those of you who need extra study time if you're in college and school, October will definitely be a great month for that. Help that's going to be available to you is actually financially, you're going to find that you're okay. You just may not be, super happy with what you're doing to make money right now. And for those of you who aren't, I do feel like you are considering those changes, and October is the month to kind of meditate on that, figure out what it is you really want to do if you're not in a situation where you are happy. I also think that maybe if there is, those of you who have female bosses, or maybe if you work with a lot of females, you may find a way to deal with the various issues that come along with that. You may be dealing with some more of the negative kind of female energies in October in the workplace or in family. Maybe you're having difficulty with your mom or a sister or an older female energy. Maybe there's conflict. Maybe you're concerned about the health or well-being of someone close to you. With this card here, though, with the Nine of Pentacles, I'm sorry, I wanted to show you. This is the Two of Cups in your challenge position reversed. And then this is the Nine of Pentacles we have for advice. But with this card here, it means that there can be a coming together. There can be a resolution here. So whatever person or feminine energy that you're having a conflict with, or if it's a health issue, it does seem like this is you're going to have a solution. You're going to get the answer in October for moving forward. If these are coworkers, you're going to be able to work with them. You're going to figure out how to do that. Maybe you find yourself in the middle of two females bickering, Libra. You can often find yourself in the midst, having to be the mediator in arguments or between people who don't get along. So, that can be, maybe you're the only one who can kind of solve this, so that if you all have to work on a project together or all have to work on a team together, it could be that you have to figure out, how that can happen with all of the different personalities and dynamics. It does seem like there may be somebody who's being very selfish, though, I will say, and kind of trying to be or manipulate everyone into doing things her way, or manipulate the situation so that it's kind of, works out to her benefit. If this is a family situation, it could have to do with financial matters. It could have to do with an estate or an inheritance. Maybe somebody is ill and there's another female in the family who's already kind of trying to jockey for position as far as, who's going to get stuff in the will. That's another way this can work, Libra. But that's actually going to be a help to you, because this is coming up in the position of advice or help that's going to be available to you. And anyone who's doing things in an underhanded way, I don't think they're going to pull the wool over the eyes of the person making the decision. So that at least is in your favor here. What has to be accepted about the month of October is there are new beginnings coming in your work situation. So this challenge, if it was work instead of a personal relationship, and if this is coworkers instead of family, you're soon going to be moving out of this because we have the Two of Pentacles along with Loki's rune, Kinaz. So we have new beginnings. You may be looking for something that would be more creative with Kinaz. This can be or something that just uses your talents, because you can be creative in any job. Your mind, if that's the way it works, if you have a lot of water energy, or if you just have that, the knack for thinking creatively, which air signs often do, you're going to be looking for a way to use that, or looking for a job or position that's going to allow you to use those talents to the utmost. If you haven't been able to do that in your current position, you're going to be looking for a way out in October. And, you may not find it in October, but it does start. After Mercury goes direct, which I believe is the third week of the month, the end of the third week, that last week of October, you could definitely start that search. I'm not saying you can't search, but I would be hesitant to sign anything with a Mercury retrograde, any contracts, or start a new job, unless you interviewed for it previously. So yeah, you're going to be looking, some of you may even be partnering up to start your own venture, and with these twos, again, with the Two of Pentacles here and the Two of Cups reversed here. Maybe it's this business partnership, this person that you're partnering up with in business or thinking of partnering up with, that, you're getting the advice from family or friends that, do you think that person's reliable? Because again, we had this coming up with the Eight of Cups reversed, next to Euros reversed, of a person who does not put a lot of effort into things. He may be a great idea person. This is normally a masculine energy. Again, doesn't have to be male. But yeah, this is someone who, it's great ideas, but doesn't really have the follow through. And definitely if you're going into partnership with somebody, you're going to need someone who has that follow through, who can go the distance, who you'll be able to rely on. Otherwise, you'll find yourself doing all of the work, Libra. So be careful of that. A partnership means, at least 40-60. I mean, come on. Maybe you don't mind a little bit more responsibility because it's your idea, if it is your idea. But yeah, definitely make sure that if you are considering a business partnership or a partnership in an emotional sense, in a relationship, that this is a person that is going to put in effort, and take care of their responsibilities. As far as towards the end of October, we have the Nine of Swords here, Libra. And what this card normally means is just, you're down about something and you're down about a delay around something. Okay. And it doesn't always have to be this huge detrimental thing. A lot of people will read this card as a horrible sorrow or a death or a loss. And it certainly can mean that, but those are the extreme cases. With the rune next to this, which is Iwas, you may just be down about a delay. Something you want to get going, you can't quite get the pieces to fall into place. And like if this is the job and you're looking for a new situation or looking to start your own business, it can't happen overnight. But in the meantime, you got to stay at this other situation. You may just be really frustrated with that, But the delay is ultimately going to work out in your favor. You've set your sights on a reasonable goal. Don't give up, Libra, if at the end of October, you're feeling like I have no results to show for this. Here I've been working and working and planning, and I still, I'm still in the same spot, or it's not moving forward in the way I envisioned. And this can also be this personal relationship, because again, with all these twos coming up, we're talking about, a one-on-one partnership of some sort, but I do think that this is just a delay, because this rune kind of negates the full-on punch of the Nine of Swords here. So I do just feel like maybe you're, and again, you're an air sign, so you do live in the mind, and you can build things up way bigger than they are by imagining all of these scenarios. Or why isn't this person getting back to me? It's probably because of this and this and this. Or why did they not like me for this job? And it's probably this and this and this. Again, with communication, if it's been a couple weeks, shoot them an email, talk to that person. You know, if this is an emotional partnership, wait until November, see how things pan out in the first couple of weeks of that, because it could be that what seems awful at the end of October, if there is anything that, you know, just seems horrible, it could be that maybe it's not as bad as it seems. Maybe you're just building it up in your head. Get a lot of sleep in October too, Libra, as much sleep as possible. Again, you know, you guys can have problems relaxing, because this card can also be the card of insomnia. So you definitely make sure that you're getting enough sleep, relaxing. That's going to help you tremendously. And it's going to make your mind sharper when you are awake, to kind of figure out strategies and new ways of doing things.